Hi, I'm Eric Zerker, the head of engineering here at AGM Container Controls.
And I'm Jim McCory, Director of Key Accounts at AGM. And today we're going to introduce you to our new H2OLock product. So Eric, what is H2OLock?
So H2OLock is a high capacity solid desiccant. That keeps things very dry. It's made by mixing a pure molecular sieve powder with a proprietary binder. We compress it under high pressure and then we sinter it. The end result is a solid that looks and feels a lot like plastic, but it keeps things dry.
So what makes H2OLock different from other solid desiccants?
So most solid desiccants are only produced in high quantities because of the high tooling costs. H2OLock, on the other hand, we can make it in high or low quantities because of our tooling process. Then after it's been pressed, we can machine it to almost any shape.
So why would someone use H2OLock as opposed to a traditional bagged or bulk desiccant?
So H2OLock is typically used in applications where space is at a premium or the form is important. So for instance, H2OLock on a per volume basis has higher capacity than traditional bagged desiccant or molecular sieve beads that are contained in some other type of container. And then in addition, because it's a solid, it's easy to secure it in place either with adhesive or by mounting it with a screw.
With the H2OLock material, are there any restrictions on the form factor? And if so, what are they? And is it a machinable product?
So H2OLock comes out of the press in a cylindrical format or in a prism format with two parallel faces. The overall size limitations will be it has to fit in a 4.5-inch diameter cylinder and be no taller than 2 inches. Then thereafter it can be machined to almost any shape.
So how does H2OLock's moisture capacity compare to other desiccants?
So H2OLock has very similar moisture capacity to beaded molecular sieve on a per volume basis. It has a higher capacity. On a per mass basis, it's slightly lower. But in any case, most of AGM's customers are looking for very dry environments, and that's where molecular sieve and H2OLock really shine.
And what about the absorption rate of H2OLock? How does that compare?
So H2OLock, the absorption rate is slower than that of beaded molecular sieve, and that's because it's a solid, so moisture has to work its way from the outside all the way to the inside. But when you compare it to other solid desiccants, it's actually faster than most. We can adjust that rate a little bit based on how we press it. So if we press it lighter, you get a faster absorption rate, and if we press it heavier, you get a slower moisture absorption rate.
So how can a user install H2OLock into their product?
So because H2OLock is a solid, there's a lot of options for that. So for instance, AGM has customers that have used adhesive to glue a tablet in place on a printed circuit board. We've also had customers who have had us drill a hole in a block of H2OLock and then secure it in place with a screw.
So is H2OLock non-dusting?
It is. So H2OLock has been tested and found to comply with the non-dusting criteria of the military specification MIL-D 3464. An AGM engineer would be happy to talk with anyone who needs more details about the testing.
And how strong is the material? Is it robust?
It is. So H2OLock has a compressive strength of 6,000 psi, and this is comparable to most plastics.
So can you give us some examples of how H2OLock has been used?
Sure. You know, H2OLock has been used in a lot of different applications. A couple of them that come to mind would be LiDAR assembly on a self-driving car, trying to keep that assembly dry because they have optics and printed circuit boards. Another one that comes to mind would be keeping the detonator on a munition dry.
So can the H2OLock material be regenerated?
It can. So desiccant in general is regenerated using heat or vacuum or pressure or a dry gas purge. Molecular sieve in general usually requires a high regeneration temperature because it's so good at pulling in and holding on to moisture. So with that in mind, we designed H2OLock with a high temperature polymer binder so that it can be regenerated. And to do so, you bake it at 450 degrees Fahrenheit and under vacuum.
So please visit our website at agmcontainer.com to learn more about H2OLock, and we will connect you with a specialist who can help you with your specific application.